Santiago traced the condensation on her diner window with a restless finger. Outside, the Memphis sun beat down an unforgiving golden hammer on the asphalt. Inside, the air conditioning hummed, but it couldn't cool the simmering heat of her ambition. 17 years old, a senior at East High. And Maya felt like a fly caught in amber. She loved her grandma, she loved her friends, but she hated the thought of staying here forever. Home of the blues, birthplace of rock and roll, and most famously home to Graceland. The very name made her sigh. To Maya, it was less a sacred site and more a giant gaudy magnet for out-of-towners. Every summer, her Instagram feed filled with her friends' vacation photos, beaches, mountains, big city skylines. Meanwhile, hers would just be another picture of the Beale Street neon, or worse, a distant shot of the king's sprawling estate. Another sweet tea. Honor O. Mrs. Gable, the owner of Gable's Diner, shuffled past, her voice gravelly but kind. "Please, Mrs. Gable." Maya smiled at reflex. She worked here part-time, saving every dime for college applications, for a ticket out New York or maybe LA. Anywhere but here. She wanted bright lights, bustling crowds, opportunities that didn't involve Elvis Presley. She heard the familiar rumble of tour buses passing by on Elvis Presley Boulevard, probably heading for Graceland. It was a constant soundtrack to her life. Tourists in loud Hawaiian shirts, fanny packs, and a look of wide-eyed devotion that Maya found baffling. What was the big deal? It was a house. A big house, sure filled with gold records and jumpsuits, but still just a house. "Slow day," Mrs. Gable commented, wiping down the counter. "Must be the heat?" Maya nodded. Summer had just begun, and the flow of visitors to Memphis felt normal. A steady stream, not overwhelming, not yet. She'd read somewhere that Graceland saw 500,000 visitors a year. That was a lot, she guessed, but nothing compared to Memphis's population, which hovered around 630,000. It made her wonder why people bothered, why travel across the country, across the world, just to see where someone famous used to live. Felt like a monument to the past, a city clinging to faded glory. Her own future felt hazy. College applications loomed, scholarships were competitive, and her family's finances were tight. Her grandma, a seamstress, worked hard, but bills piled up. Maya knew she had to contribute, and the diner wages, while helpful, weren't going to cut it. She needed something more, something that paid better, even if it meant sacrificing a bit of her soul. Later that evening, walking home, the air still thick with humidity, Maya passed a gift shop near Graceland. Its windows were crammed with Elvis memorabilia, tiny blue suede shoes, sequin scarves, mini guitars. A middle-aged couple stood outside gazing reverently at a framed picture of Elvis on display. The woman had tears in her eyes. Maya shook her head slightly. "Hey, Maya!" She turned to see Jamal, her best friend, jogging to catch up. He was wearing his basketball jersey, sweat glistening on his forehead. "Practice just finished. You going to the community meeting tonight?" "Which one?" Maya asked, though she knew. The city council was discussing the rising cost of public transportation, another symptom of Memphis's struggles in her opinion. "The one about the transit budget cuts. Grandma said everyone should go." "Yeah, I guess." Maya kicked a loose pebble. "Just feels like we're always fighting uphill, you know." Jamal nodded, wiping his brow. "Yeah, but it's our hill. Gotta keep pushing." He paused, then looked towards Graceland, which was faintly visible in the distance, a grand silhouette against the setting sun. "Heard they're thinking of hiring more people over there for the summer. With the new exhibit coming, you know." Maya snorted. "Working at Graceland?" "No thanks. I'd rather scrub toilets." She immediately regretted the harshness in her voice, but the words were out. The idea of being a cog in that nostalgia machine felt like a trap, like she'd be giving up on her dreams of something bigger, something new. Jamal just shrugged. "Pays decent, I heard. Better than Gable's, maybe. Maybe for you if you like. Listening to oldies all day?" Maya retorted. I need to make real money fast. As she walked the rest of the way home, Jamal's words echoed in her mind. Pay's decent, the thought, unwelcome as it was, began to take root. Every dollar mattered. Every single one. She pictured the long hours, the polite smiles, the forced enthusiasm for a history she didn't connect with. Could she stomach it? Could she put her disdain aside for the sake of her future that night? Sleep didn't come easy. Maya tossed and turned, the soft hum of the window unit, a poor substitute for the roaring ambition in her heart. She dreamed of skyscrapers and bustling avenues, far from the quiet, familiar streets of Memphis. But even in her dreams, she saw a faint golden glow in the distance like a beacon. She knew somehow it was Graceland, a place she wanted nothing to do with, yet a place that seemed to be drawing closer whether she liked it or not. Something was stirring in Memphis. A subtle shift in the air, a whisper on the wind that promised change. And Maya, despite herself, would soon be caught in its currents. The subtle shift Maya felt quickly became undeniable. Over the next few weeks, the hum of tour buses turned into a steady drone and then a roar. Mrs. Gable's diner, usually a quiet haven for regulars and a few passing tourists, became a whirlwind of new faces. People speaking different languages, people with eager, almost desperate expressions, filled the booths. They were just the usual summer vacationers. There was a different energy about them. Unbelievable, isn't it? Mrs. Gable said one sweltering afternoon, gesturing to the packed diner. It's like the whole world decided to come to Memphis this year. Maya wiped down a sticky counter, feeling the strain in her feet. It's good for business, I guess. She tried to sound enthusiastic, but her patience was wearing thin. The tips were better, sure, but the crowds were relentless and the sheer number of people felt unsettling. News reports started mentioning unprecedented summer tourism. One morning, while walking past Graceland on her way to Gables, Maya noticed something strange. The line to get in stretched further than she'd ever seen it, looping around the parking lot. People stood patiently, some holding faded photos of Elvis, others simply staring up at the mansion as if waiting for a miracle. There was a quiet reverence, a palpable sense of anticipation among the crowd. A familiar face caught her eye. It was Mr. Henderson, an older gentleman she'd seen around town for years, always impeccably dressed, with a kind smile and eyes that seemed to hold a lot of stories. He was a Graceland tour guide, a job Maya had always thought of as slightly pathetic. But today Mr. Henderson wasn't guiding. He was just standing outside the gates talking to visitors, his face alight with a quiet joy. Later that week, her grandmother came home with a flyer. Maya, look at this. Graceland is hiring for their summer season extra staff. They're offering good pay, better than what you make at the diner. Maya stared at the flyer. But Grandma, I told you I don't want to work there. Honey, her grandmother said gently, we need every penny right now. Your college applications, they cost money, and those scholarships aren't going to pay for themselves. Just for the summer, think of it as an adventure more like a penance. But her grandma's words hit home. The tuition bills, the application fees, the sheer cost of building a future. She looked at her grandmother's tired eyes, at the stack of bills on the kitchen table. The next morning, swallowing her pride, Maya walked into the Graceland employment office. It was packed, people of all ages, eager for jobs. She filled out an application, her handwriting neat, but her stomach churning. To her surprise, given the rush, she got a call for an interview 2 days later. She was interviewed by a brisk, no-nonsense woman named M.S. Albright. We're swamped, M.S., Albright explained. Numbers are off the charts. We need people who can handle crowds and still smile. Maya, despite herself, found herself putting on a good show. She talked about her experience at Gables, her ability to handle pressure, her customer service skills. She even managed a convincing smile when M.S. Albright asked if she was an Elvis fan. She mumbled something about appreciating his music. To her shock, she was hired on the spot as a gift shop assistant. Her first day was scheduled for the following Monday. Monday arrived too quickly. Maya, dressed in the standard Graceland polo shirt, feeling utterly ridiculous. As she walked through the sprawling complex past the visitor center, the auto museum, and the various exhibits, she couldn't deny the scale of the operation. It was a city unto itself. Her first shift in the gift shop was pure chaos. Tourists swarmed, snatching up souvenirs, asking endless questions. Maya found herself mechanically ringing up purchases, her smile fixed. She felt like a robot. Then she saw him. Mr. Henderson, looking distinguished even in his tour guide uniform, was leading a group through the gift shop, gesturing towards a display of Elvis's movie posters. He caught her eye and gave her a warm, knowing nod. Later, during a short break, Maya found herself sitting alone on a bench, scrolling through her phone. A voice cut through the noise. "Having fun yet, Santiago?" She looked up. Mr. Henderson stood over her, a gentle smile on his face. "It's a lot," Maya admitted, feeling a surprising comfort in his presence. "So many people. Where are they all coming from?" Mr. Henderson chuckled, a soft rumbling sound. "Everywhere, child. They're coming from everywhere. And not just the usual fans, are they?" He leaned against the railing, his gaze sweeping over the bustling crowd. "You feel it, don't you? This isn't just about tourism anymore." Maya frowned. "What do you mean?" "The whispers, the feeling in the air," he said, his voice dropping to an almost reverent tone. "Some folks call it the Year of the Echo." Maya raised an eyebrow. "The Year of the Echo? What's that? Some kind of marketing slogan?" Mr. Henderson shook his head slowly. "And it calls to those who are searching, those who are lost, those who need to believe in something bigger than themselves." Maya stared at him, bewildered. "Are you serious? You think people are coming here because of some echo?" "Watch them, Maya," Mr. Henderson advised, his eyes twinkling. "Don't just see the crowds. See the individuals. See the look in their eyes. They aren't just here for a photo op. They're here for something deeper, something this place and the man who lived here represents to them." He pushed off the railing. "Welcome to Graceland, Maya. You might find it's more than just a house. It's a destination for the soul." With another kind nod, he walked away, leaving Maya to ponder his words. Amidst the rising tide of visitors, a tide that was rapidly turning into a flood, the sheer number of people felt overwhelming, almost suffocating, yet Mr. Henderson's words had planted a tiny, intriguing seed of curiosity in her cynical mind. The weeks that followed Maya's first day at Graceland were a blur of motion and sound. The unprecedented summer tourism that news channels had mentioned quickly escalated into something almost unbelievable. The parking lots that usually accommodated hundreds of cars were now overflowing by mid-morning, with additional lots opening up all along Elvis Presley Boulevard. Hotels in Memphis were booked solid for months, and local businesses from the smallest corner store to the biggest restaurant chain were struggling to keep up with the demand. Maya's initial disdain for Graceland was slowly being chipped away, replaced by a grudging respect for the sheer logical feat of managing such immense crowds. But more than that, she was beginning to see the visitors differently. Mr. Henderson's words about the Year of the Echo had lodged in her mind. She started paying attention. In the gift shop, she'd see people hold up a simple Elvis keychain, tears in their eyes. A young couple from Japan bought matching Graceland t-shirts, holding hands tightly, their faces radiating a quiet happiness. An older man, frail and using a cane, spent 20 minutes just staring at a display of Elvis's military uniform, a faraway look in his eyes as if reliving his own youth. They weren't just fans. They were seekers. The sheer volume of people became the dominant topic of conversation in Memphis. The mayor's office held emergency press conferences about infrastructure, strain, public safety, and the unprecedented economic boom. It was announced that for the first time in memory, the number of daily visitors to Graceland alone was starting to consistently exceed the city's total population, creating a bizarre, temporary demographic inversion. The average number of daily visitors was usually a few thousand now. It was tens of thousands. Maya found herself working longer shifts, sometimes as a cleaner, sometimes helping direct traffic in the visitor center. Anything to manage the flow. It was exhausting, but the increased pay was undeniable, and it meant her college fund was growing faster than she'd ever hoped. One particularly sweltering Tuesday during a rare lull, Maya found Mr. Henderson in the archives room, poring over old blueprints of Graceland. He was usually meticulously organized, but today scattered around him were dusty old maps, personal letters, and newspaper clippings. Maya asked, peeking her head in. "Everything okay?" He looked up, pushing his glasses up his nose. "Maya, come in. Just doing some historical verification." He gestured to the scattered papers. "Historical verification for what?" He smiled. "For the echo, of course. I'm trying to track its patterns, its previous occurrences." Maya felt a jolt of curiosity. "So you really believe in it?" "Believe, Maya," he chuckled. "Child, I've seen it. I've felt it every few decades, sometimes longer, sometime." There's a pull. Not always this strong, mind you, but it's always there. This year it's amplified, like a global beacon. He picked up a faded newspaper clipping. "Look here. 1977, after outpouring. People felt it then, a need to connect. Another time, early 60s, when he was in the army. And people felt addressed about Elvis. Maya, it's about what he just about Elvis. Maya, it's about what he reps about Elvis. Maya, it's about what he represents. Hope. The American dream." Maya looked at the newspaper clipping, then at the bustling complex outside. But why now? Why this year specifically? What makes this different? Mr. Henderson shrugged, his eyes distant. "The world is changing, Maya. People feel more isolated, more divided. They're looking for common ground, for a shared experience, for a sense of belonging. Graceland offers that. It's a place where everyone, no matter where they come from, can feel a connection to something larger." He pointed to a handwritten note on a yellowed piece of paper. Maya shivered, despite the heat. A hum, like a spiritual energy. "Perhaps," Mr. Henderson mused, "or perhaps a collective consciousness. When enough people believe, enough people hope, it creates its own energy. And Elvis, his music, his story, they are powerful conduits for that energy." He stood up, gathering the papers. "This surge, Maya, it's not just tourism. It's a phenomenon. The city council might be talking about logistical challenges, but what they're really seeing is the world flocking to Memphis. Not just for a tour, but for a feeling. And we, at Graceland, are merely the custodians of that feeling." As Mr. Henderson prepared to leave, Maya noticed a small, intricately carved wooden bird on his desk. It wasn't a common Memphis bird, but something exotic, almost tropical. "That's a curious bird," Maya commented. Mr. Henderson picked it up, running his thumb over its smooth surface. "An old family heirloom passed down. They say it hums faintly when the echo is strong, a reminder to listen to the heartbeat of the world." He smiled, then added, "You have a good eye, Maya. You're beginning to see the magic, aren't you?" Maya didn't answer directly. Magic. She wasn't sure, but she was starting to see something. The sheer scale of people, their intense emotional reactions, Mr. Henderson's quiet conviction. It was all beginning to weave a spell around her. She had come to Graceland for a paycheck, to escape Memphis, but now the city itself felt alive with a strange magnetic pull. She was no longer just an observer. She was a small, increasingly intrigued part of the first wave. The year of the echo was now in full swing, and Maya was no longer just an employee. She was an embedded participant. Her shifts were long and grueling, but they were also filled with moments that slowly, subtly changed her perspective. The sheer number of people passing through Graceland each day was staggering. It wasn't just a flow. It was a tide, a human ocean. One afternoon, a young man approached her in the gift shop. He had a guitar slung over his back and a worn notebook in his hand. His eyes, though tired, held a spark of intense passion. "Excuse me," he said, his voice soft. "I'm trying to find the meditation garden. I hear it's quiet there." "It's just past the mansion, down the path," Maya replied, giving him directions. "Are you a musician?" He nodded. "My name's Jesse, from Nashville. I came here because I'm stuck. Totally creatively blocked, been trying to write a song for months and nothing. My grandma always said Elvis's music could heal anything. So I figured maybe Graceland could help me find my voice again." Maya felt a flicker of empathy. She understood being stuck, being desperate for a breakthrough. "Good luck, Jesse," she said. Later that week, she saw him again, sitting outside the mansion, not playing his guitar, but simply sketching in his notebook. He looked more relaxed, a quiet intensity in his eyes. He waved to her. Still no song. He called out, "But I feel clearer, like something opened up." Maya found herself genuinely hoping he would find what he was looking for. Another day, an elderly woman named Mrs. Chen, frail and using a walker, approached Maya. She spoke halting English, but her eyes conveyed a deep gratitude. "My husband," she gestured with a trembling hand towards a photo of Elvis on a nearby stand. "He loved. He sing for me. Now he gone, I come here. I feel him, he here." Maya found herself doing something she never thought she would. She took Mrs. Chen's hand, a silent gesture of comfort. She listened as Mrs. Chen spoke, her words halting, about how Elvis's music had been the soundtrack to her marriage, how coming to Graceland made her feel closer to her late husband. Maya found herself unexpectedly choked up. It wasn't about Elvis. Mr. Henderson would often seek her out during breaks, his eyes twinkling. "You're seeing it now, aren't you, Maya?" "I'm seeing people who are searching," she admitted. "It's not what I expected." "That's the echo," he affirmed. "It draws those who need something, a spark, a connection, a memory. This house, it's a vessel for those things." He told her a story about a family who had come from a war-torn country, their young daughter barely speaking after witnessing so much trauma. They had heard about Graceland, not as a tourist attraction, but as a place of peace, a beacon of hope for their fractured family. And as they walked through the serene gardens, the little girl, for the first time in months, had hummed a tune she recognized from a lullaby her mother used to sing. An Elvis song. Maya began to feel a shift within herself. Her initial cynicism was slowly being replaced by a sense of wonder and even a faint stirring of pride. She was part of something bigger, something that brought solace and joy to so many. She started recommending specific areas of Graceland based on what visitors seemed to be seeking: the quiet serenity of the meditation garden for those needing peace, the vibrant energy of the jungle, room for those seeking inspiration. She even started engaging in small conversations, asking people why they had come. A young woman from Germany, dealing with chronic illness, said she came for the healing energy she felt from Elvis's music. A group of college students, just graduated, decided Graceland was their pilgrimage before facing the uncertainties of adulthood. A place to reflect on dreams and beginnings. One evening, after a particularly long shift, Maya sat on her porch swing. Exhausted, but not entirely drained. The Memphis air was still thick, but now it felt different, charged with a subtle energy she hadn't noticed before. She found herself humming a tune, a familiar Elvis melody she'd heard countless times but never truly listened to. It wasn't the kind of music she usually chose, but tonight it felt right. She pulled out her phone and scrolled through her college applications. New York, They still called to her, But now, a tiny voice in her head wondered if leaving Memphis meant leaving something truly unique behind. The official numbers continued to climb. The local news reported that for the entire month of July, the cumulative number of Graceland visitors had surpassed the entire population of Shelby County, of which Memphis was the largest city. It was an unprecedented, almost unbelievable. The city was struggling with the logistics, but there was also an undeniable buzz, a sense of shared purpose that hadn't existed before. Maya saw it on the faces of her neighbors, too. There was a newfound pride, a willingness to help the overwhelmed visitors, a sense of community that had been dormant. Memphis, the city she had wanted to escape, was alive in a way she had never experienced. The year of the echo was now undeniable. The visitor count wasn't just higher, it was astronomical. The city of Memphis was now officially hosting more people visiting Graceland annually than its entire residential population. It was a headline-grabbing phenomenon drawing global attention. News crews from every major network set up shop on Elvis Presley Boulevard. Scientists, sociologists, and spiritual leaders arrived, all trying to explain the unexplainable. Maya by now was a seasoned veteran of the Graceland staff. She no longer worked just the gift shop. She was often asked to assist Mr. Henderson with special tours, helping manage the flow of the most dedicated visitors. She knew the mansion's layout intimately, from the opulent living room to the vibrant jungle room. One afternoon, while leading a small group through the house, Mr. Henderson paused them in the jungle room. The air was always a bit different here, thick with the smell of old wood and the scent of the artificial plants. But today, Maya felt it too, a subtle, almost imperceptible hum beneath her feet, just as the old caretaker had described. It wasn't a sound, not exactly, but a vibration, a resonance. "This room, Mr. Henderson," began his voice, soft but clear. It was a place where he could escape, be himself, create. And it's here, perhaps more than anywhere else in the house, that the echo truly vibrates. As he spoke, Maya's gaze fell upon a seemingly ordinary detail, one of the carved wooden monkeys that adorned the doorway into the jungle room. She'd seen it hundreds of times, but today something about it seemed different. There was a faint, almost invisible symbol carved into its forehead, barely larger than a thumbnail. It looked like a stylized treble clef, but with a subtle extra curve, almost like an opening door. "Mr. Henderson," she whispered, "what's that symbol?" She pointed. He leaned in, his eyes widening slightly. "Well, I've been coming in this room for 30 years, and I've never noticed that. It's old. Very old. Not part of the original design, I don't think. Looks ancient. It's like a musical note, but more," Maya mused, tracing it with her finger. That evening, after her shift, Maya couldn't stop thinking about the symbol. She consulted Mr. Henderson, who had also been intrigued. He spent hours in the archives pulling out more old documents, searching for any mention of it. "Nothing concrete," he reported the next day, looking slightly frustrated. "No records of any such carving being part of the original decor. It must have been added later by someone who knew its significance." "Significance?" Maya asked. "Well, if it's tied to the echo, it must be some kind of key or a beacon," he speculated. "Something that amplifies or draws the energy." The media, meanwhile, was in a frenzy. News anchors reported on the incredible phenomenon. Graceland's magnetic pull. How one home outdraws a city. Skeptics argued it was a coordinated marketing ploy, a clever publicity stunt. But Maya knew better. She saw the faces. No marketing could produce that kind of genuine emotion, that palpable yearning. The city, despite the logistical nightmare, was thriving. Local restaurants expanded their hours. New jobs were created across service industries, and there was a palpable sense of excitement in the air. Memphis, which had often been described as struggling or past its prime, was now a global focal point, not for its challenges, but for its unique, inexplicable allure. The mayor, initially overwhelmed, began to embrace the narrative. "This isn't just a tourist boom," she announced at a press conference. "This is a testament to the enduring power of American dreams of hope and of the incredible spirit of our city." She launched initiatives to help small businesses, organized volunteer efforts to assist visitors, and even started a Memphis Welcomes the World campaign. Maya began to see her city in a new light anymore. It was a place capable of inspiring millions, a place holding a mysterious, powerful energy. Her perception of Graceland had fundamentally shifted. It wasn't a gaudy museum. It was a sanctuary, a living testament to something profound. One evening, while walking home, she spotted Jesse, the musician, sitting on a park bench, his guitar finally out of its case. "He was strumming," Maya called out, surprised. "You wrote something?" He looked up, a wide smile on his face. "Maya, yeah. Last night just flowed out of me right after visiting the jungle room again. It's not finished, but it feels right." He played a few more notes. It was simple, haunting, and beautiful. "It's good, Jesse," Maya said genuinely. "It's about finding your song," he said, looking at the distant silhouette of Graceland. "About realizing you had it inside you all along, but you needed a place like that to help you hear it." His words resonated deeply with Maya. Finding your song? Was that what the echo was doing for everyone? Not just for Jesse, but for the lonely widow, for the struggling family, for everyone who sought solace or inspiration within those gates. The carved symbol on the monkey in the jungle room became Maya's quiet obsession. She started sketching it in her notebook during breaks, trying to decipher its meaning. Mr. Henderson, meanwhile, continued his own research. He believed it was a crucial clue, somehow connected to the very heart of the echo. "This isn't just about attracting people, Maya," Mr. Henderson said to her one morning, holding a dusty old map of the Graceland property. "It's about why they are drawn here, and I think this symbol, this hidden mark, is part of the answer." Pointed to a spot on the map, a small, unremarkable area near the meditation garden. "There is an old well here filled in years ago. Local legend says it's a wishing well, but some believe it's a source of natural springs with water that has unusual properties. Perhaps the symbol is a marker for a place where the echo is strongest, a place that connects to Graceland's deepest roots." Maya felt a thrill of excitement mixed with the apprehension. The mystery was deepening, weaving itself, not just into the fabric of Graceland, but into the very heart of Memphis. And she, the girl who wanted nothing more than to leave, was now at its very center, driven by a captivating intrigue that overshadowed all her previous plans. The echo was real, and it was calling to her too. Memphis was no longer just the home of the blues or Graceland's backyard. It had become a living, breathing testament to the power of hope. The massive influx of visitors, initially a logistical challenge, had transformed the city in profound ways. The streets buzzed with an energy Maya had never witnessed before. Language barriers melted away as locals and visitors found creative ways to communicate, often with shared smiles and gestures of goodwill. The sheer numbers were astounding. Every day, the news reported on the visitor count, which consistently dwarfed Memphis's population. It wasn't just a statistical anomaly anymore. It was a societal shift. The city had effectively become a temporary global village, united by a shared pilgrimage to Graceland. Maya saw the transformation everywhere. The usually quiet residential streets near Graceland were now alive with pop-up food stalls and impromptu street performers. Empty storefronts were suddenly bustling with new businesses, eager to cater to the endless stream of people. Even the infamous Memphis traffic, usually a source of frustration, was now endured with a collective sigh of good humor, everyone seemingly understanding they were part of something bigger. Her own neighborhood felt different. Her grandmother, initially overwhelmed by the crowds, now found herself chatting daily with visitors from far-flung corners of the globe, sharing stories, even teaching them a few southern phrases. Maya saw her grandma's eyes light up, rediscovering a pride in her city that had perhaps faded over time. One evening at the diner, Maya saw Jamal serving tables. his usual laid-back demeanor replaced by a focused, almost enthusiastic energy. He had started working shifts at a Graceland-themed restaurant nearby. "Never thought I'd be working for the king," he joked, wiping down a table. "But man, the tips are insane. And the stories these people tell you, it's wild." "Right," Maya agreed. "It's not what I expected." "Nah," Jamal said, shaking his head. "It's like the whole city woke up. Everyone's so positive, like we're all in this together." And it was true. A palpable sense of community had blossomed. Memphians, known for their resilience, had embraced their new role as hosts to the world. Volunteers emerged from every neighborhood directing traffic, helping lost tourists, even simply offering a friendly face. Food banks received increased donations from grateful visitors. Local musicians, initially worried about being overshadowed, found their Beale Street gigs packed with new appreciative audiences. The deeper mystery of the echo continued to unfold for Maya. She and Mr. Henderson spent hours in the quiet corners of Graceland piecing together clues. The symbol on the monkey in the jungle room led them to another, fainter etching on a stone bench in the meditation garden near where Mr. Henderson suspected the old well was. This time the symbol was inverted, like the door was closing or reflecting. "It's a conduit, Maya," Mr. Henderson theorized one day, sketching the symbols on a notepad. "An energetic pathway. The first symbol, the one in the jungle room. It opens the path. It draws the energy of hope and creation. The second, here in the meditation garden. It allows people to find peace at pace." It was about the carefully orchestrated journey, the spiritual architecture of Graceland itself, designed to guide visitors from the vibrancy of Elvis's life to the quiet contemplation of his legacy. The number of visitors that year was officially projected to exceed 1.5 million. More than double the entire population of Memphis. The sheer scale was mind-boggling. And it wasn't just tourist dollars. It was human connection. Maya witnessed countless instances of people from vastly different backgrounds, sharing deeply personal stories, finding common ground in their shared admiration for Elvis and what he represented. She saw a woman from Russia, a former ballerina, weep openly in front of Elvis's performance outfits, explaining how his music had given her the courage to defy Soviet restrictions and pursue her art. She saw a young man from rural Montana, struggling with mental health issues, find solace in the peaceful atmosphere of the meditation garden, telling Maya, "It's like the quiet here talks to my soul." Maya, who had once dreamt only of leaving Memphis, now found herself defending it fiercely. When a cynical TV reporter suggested the whole phenomenon was just a trick of statistics, she instinctively stepped forward, ready to explain what she had witnessed. Mr. Henderson gently pulled her back. "Let them talk, Maya. The truth is in the hearts of the people." And it was the heart of Memphis was beating stronger than ever. The city had transformed from a place in the shadow of its past to a vibrant global hub of connection and hope. Maya, walking through the bustling streets after a long shift, no longer saw a city that felt stuck. She saw a city that was alive, brimming with stories, her own among them. The girl who used to count down the days until she could leave now found herself counting the moments she felt truly connected to something, truly a part of it. The echo had not only drawn millions to Graceland, it had, in its own way, drawn Maya into the heart of Memphis itself. August arrived, bringing with it the peak of the echo. The heat was oppressive, but nothing deterred the unending stream of visitors. The official visitor count for the year now stood at over 1.2 million, far surpassing the actual population of Memphis, a figure that was regularly updated on billboards across the city. It was no longer just a statistic. It was a phenomenon, a testament to the enduring power of Graceland. Maya, now practically a junior manager, found herself working alongside Mr. Henderson almost constantly. She had absorbed his wisdom, his deep reverence for the place, and his uncanny ability to connect with visitors on a profound level. She knew the history, the legends, and the hidden nooks of Graceland better than she knew her own neighborhood. The energy in Graceland was almost tangible. It hummed in the air, a silent vibration that settled deep in your chest. In the jungle room, the symbolic carving on the monkey seemed to almost glow faintly in the subdued light. In the meditation garden, where the second inverted symbol marked the filled-in well, the air felt incredibly serene, almost sacred. People lingered there for hours, some meditating, some simply sitting in quiet contemplation, tears often streaming down their faces. One afternoon, a massive contingent of fans calling themselves the Global Graceland Pilgrims arrived. They had traveled from every continent, organizing through online forums, all drawn by the same inexplicable pull. They wore matching t-shirts that simply read, "Hear the Echo." Maya was tasked with helping Mr. Henderson guide them. As they entered the mansion, the leader of the pilgrims, a kind-faced woman from Australia named Eleanor, approached Maya. "We heard about the stories," she said, her eyes shining. "About the echo, we felt it even across the world. A calling." As Maya led them through the mansion, she shared anecdotes she'd learned from Mr. Henderson. Stories of Elvis's generosity, his humble beginnings, his connection to his fans. She spoke, not as a memorized script, but from a newfound, genuine appreciation. When they reached the jungle room, Eleanor paused, her eyes fixed on the carved monkey. "The symbol," she breathed. "It's real. We saw sketches of it online from people who felt its energy. It amplifies the dream." Maya nodded, feeling a thrill of confirmation. Her sketches were spot on. Later, in the meditation garden, as the pilgrims gathered around the second symbol, Eleanor pulled out a small, intricately carved wooden bird, remarkably similar to Mr. Henderson's heirloom. "This has been in my family for generations," she explained. "My great-grandmother brought it from Memphis, always saying it reminded her of a song without words. My family says it hums when the heart of the land calls." The bird in her hand vibrated faintly. Maya looked at Mr. Henderson, whose eyes were wide with surprise and wonder. The legends were not just local folklore. They were recognized globally that day. Graceland was a symphony of emotion. People openly wept, hugged strangers, sang Elvis songs in impromptu choruses. Chaos was undeniable, but it was a joyful, cathartic chaos. Maya, in the midst of it all, felt an exhilarating sense of purpose. She was no longer just helping manage the crowds. She was facilitating moments of profound human connection. She saw Jesse, the musician, sharing his new song with a small crowd by the gift shop, his voice clear and confident. She saw Mrs. Chan, the elderly widow, sitting peacefully in the meditation garden, a serene smile on her face. The echo was working its magic. The media coverage reached a fever pitch. Major networks broadcast live from Graceland, floating the incredible scenes. Pundits debated the economic impact, the cultural significance, and the sheer improbability of it all. But beneath the statistics and the analysis, Maya understood the true story. It was about hope, about finding something to believe in, and about the enduring power of a single individual's dream. One evening, after the last visitors had left, Maya and Mr. Henderson walked through the quiet, hallowed grounds. The air was cooler now, and a soft glow emanated from the mansion. "We did it, Maya," Mr. Henderson said, his voice filled with a quiet triumph. "The echo peaked. The numbers are beyond anything we could have imagined, and the city, Memphis, it embraced it." Maya looked at the mansion no longer with disdain, but with a deep sense of respect and awe. "It's like the house itself is alive, isn't it, breathing?" "It always has been," he replied, "but this year its heartbeat was strong enough to reach the whole world, and you, Maya, you helped ensure that heartbeat was heard." He paused, then looked at her, his eyes warm. "You know, when you first started, you said you wanted to leave Memphis, to find something bigger." Maya smiled. a genuine, heartfelt smile. "I think I found it, Mr. Henderson, right here." The girl who had once seen Graceland as a symbol of her city's stagnation now saw it as a beacon of global hope, and the number of people who had visited it that year, dwarfing the population of Memphis, was not just a statistic, but a testament to a beautiful, overwhelming, and utterly captivating truth. The sheer scale of the Graceland phenomenon, while overwhelmingly positive for Memphis, began to attract unwelcome attention. It was inevitable. When something so remarkable and inexplicable happens, there are always those who seek to exploit it, or those who simply refuse to believe in anything beyond profit and logic. Enter Sterling Developments, a powerful soulless corporation known for its aggressive takeovers and sterile cookie-cutter leisure complexes, headed by a slick, sharp-suited CEO named Randall Sterling. The company made headlines with a bold proposal to acquire the land surrounding Graceland and construct a massive state-of-the-art Elvis Entertainment City. Their pitch: a hyper-modern complex of hotels, malls, and interactive experiences, the unprecedented visitor flow moving beyond the quaint, outdated charm of the current Graceland experience. "It's a disgrace," Mr. Henderson fumed one morning, tossing a copy of the Memphis Daily News onto Maya's desk. The front page blared, "Sterling Developments eyes Graceland expansion." Maya read the article, her jaw tightening. "They want to build a soulless mall around it. They don't understand anything." Randall Sterling, in his public statements, dismissed the Year of the Echo as mere superstition, a clever marketing ploy by Graceland's management. He publicly ridiculed the idea of any spiritual energy or magical draw, claiming the surge was purely a result of viral social media campaigns and pent-up post-pandemic travel demand. "We offer efficiency, comfort, and a truly modern experience," Sterling announced at a press conference, standing in front of a glossy rendering of his proposed complex. "No more waiting in lines under the hot sun. No more quaint, outdated facilities. Graceland deserves a commercial ecosystem befitting its global stature." His words, sharp and dismissive, felt like a direct assault on everything Maya had come to understand and cherish about Graceland. He didn't see the hope, the solace, the connection. He just saw dollar signs and logistical inefficiencies. The city council, initially hesitant, was slowly being swayed by Sterling's promises of massive tax revenue and urban revitalization. Some council members, blinded by the potential money, started publicly questioning the current management of Graceland, suggesting it wasn't equipped to handle such a large-scale phenomenon. "They want to turn it into a theme park," Maya lamented to Mr. Henderson. "They'll destroy what makes it special." "Precisely," he agreed, his face grim. "They want to commercialize the soul of Graceland. The Echo thrives on genuine emotion, on true connection. Sterling wants to bottle it, package it, and sell it in a gift shop. It will kill the magic." Maya realized this wasn't just about preserving a historical site. It was about protecting a unique, vital force of positive energy that had brought so much good to Memphis and to the world. The city had found its voice, its purpose, its renewed spirit. Through the Echo, to let Sterling strip that away would be a tragedy. "We have to fight them," Maya declared, her eyes blazing with determination. "We can't let them do this." Mr. Henderson nodded. "But how?" "Maya, Sterling has deep pockets and powerful connections. They're buying up land, lobbying City Hall. They'll paint us as sentimentalists, as holding back progress." Maya thought about Jesse, the musician, who had found his song. She thought about Mrs. Chen, who had found solace. She thought about the global Graceland pilgrims who had traveled across the world just to feel the Echo. "We show them," Maya said, a plan forming in her mind. "We show them what the Echo really means. We put a face to the numbers. We prove that it's not just about money, but about people's lives." She proposed a series of public forums, not just to debate Sterling's plans, but to allow the visitors themselves and the Memphians, whose lives had been touched, to share their stories. She also suggested using social media, creating a campaign where people could share their personal Graceland Echo experiences. Mr. Henderson was initially skeptical. Sterling will just dismiss it as emotional manipulation. But the people will hear us. The people who matter. The people who come here for something more than a souvenir. They started by reaching out to the global Graceland pilgrims and other dedicated visitors they knew. Eleanor, the Australian pilgrim leader, immediately offered her full support, rallying her network. Jesse, the musician, offered to perform his newly written song at the public forums, a testament to Graceland's power of inspiration. Mrs. Chen, despite her frailness, insisted on attending, promising to share her story. The first public forum was held in a community center, and to everyone's surprise, it was packed, not just with Memphians, but with visitors who extended their stay just to be there. Maya, standing alongside Mr. Henderson, felt a surge of nerves and excitement. Randall Sterling's representatives were there, smirking in the back, seemingly confident that this would be a futile exercise in sentimentality. But as speaker after speaker shared their deeply personal stories, stories of healing, of finding purpose, of rekindling lost hope, the atmosphere in the room shifted. Tears flowed freely. Even some of the city council members, initially aloof, began to listen with genuine interest. Maya ended the evening by showing a short video she had painstakingly edited on her phone, featuring testimonials from visitors of all ages and backgrounds, each one speaking about the profound impact Graceland had had on their lives. The video culminated with the simple phrase, "Graceland, more than a house, a home for the soul." As the crowd erupted in applause, Maya felt a powerful surge of energy, like the echo itself was resonating in the room. This was their answer to Sterling. Not money, not logistics, but the undeniable heartwarming truth of human experience. The fight was far from over, but for the first time Maya felt a true sense of hope. They had unveiled the true heart of Graceland, and it was beating stronger than ever. The battle against Sterling developments intensified, but so did the resolve of the community. Maya, now a central figure in the Save Graceland's Soul campaign, worked tirelessly alongside Mr. Henderson. Their public forums gained traction, becoming powerful, emotional shankers that resonated far beyond Memphis. News outlets that had initially focused on Sterling's corporate ambition now started reporting on the raw, authentic stories of the Graceland visitors. One particularly moving moment occurred when Mrs. Chen, the elderly widow, spoke at a packed city council meeting. Her voice, though soft and halting, carried immense power. "Graceland is not only for music, it is for heart. My husband, he live in my heart. Graceland, it bring him closer. Sterling, he wants empty building. No heart, no song." Her simple, profound words brought many to tears, even some of the hardened politicians. Jesse, the musician, played his song at every opportunity. His music, inspired by his experience at Graceland, became an anthem for the campaign, a poignant melody of rediscovered hope. The global Graceland pilgrims organized online petitions, shared their stories on social media, and even held solidarity rallies in their home countries. The Echo was not just a local phenomenon. It was a global movement. Randall Sterling and his team, initially dismissive, grew increasingly frustrated. Their logical, financial arguments were crumbling under the weight of overwhelming emotional testimonies. They tried to discredit the stories, calling them fabricated and sentimental nonsense. But their words rang hollow against the genuine outpouring of human connection. Maya realized that the true power of the Echo wasn't just in drawing people to Graceland, but in the connections and transformations that happened because of it. It was about the young couple who rekindled their love, the grieving family who found solace, the artist who rediscovered their voice. This was Graceland's real legacy, far beyond the gold records and jumpsuits. Inspired by this realization, Maya spearheaded a new initiative, the Echo Legacy Project. She created a digital archive inviting visitors from around the world to submit their personal stories, photos, and videos of how Graceland had impacted their lives during the year of the Echo. The response was overwhelming. Thousands of testimonials poured in, forming a vibrant tapestry of shared human experience. One submission particularly touched Maya's heart. It was from a young man named Kenji, from Japan. He shared a video of himself standing outside Graceland, speaking to the camera in broken English. He explained how he had been struggling with severe anxiety and a deep sense of isolation. He had felt drawn to Graceland not as an Elvis fan, but as someone desperate for a sense of belonging. He ended the video by saying, "Here I feel connected, not alone, I feel hope. Thank you, Graceland." Maya knew that feeling well. She shared Kenji's video along with dozens of others at the final pivotal city council meeting. The council chambers were overflowing. Every seat was taken, and people stood shoulder to shoulder in the aisles. The air was thick with anticipation. Randall Sterling made his final impassioned plea, detailing his financial projections, his promises of revenue, and his plans for a modernized Memphis. He painted a picture of economic prosperity that on paper looked undeniably attractive. Then it was Maya's turn. She stood before the council, no longer the cynical teenager, but a poised, confident young woman. She didn't talk about money or tourism figures. She talked about the Echo. "Mr. Sterling speaks of progress and profit," Maya began, her voice clear and strong. "But he fails to see the most valuable resource Graceland offers: hope. He sees visitors as numbers, we see them as people, people like Kenji, who found connection, like Mrs. Chen, who found his song." She paused, looking around the room, making eye contact with every council member. "This year, more people have visited Graceland than live in our entire city. That is not just a statistic, ladies and gentlemen. It is a testament to the enduring power of a place that offers solace." Inspiration Afre. She played a compilation video from the Echo Legacy Project, a montage of faces from every corner of the globe, all speaking of their transformations. The raw emotion in the room was palpable. When the video ended, a profound silence fell, broken only by a few quiet sniffles. People cheered, hugged, and cried, tears of relief and joy. Maya felt Mr. Henderson's proud hand on her shoulder. She looked around at the faces, the Memphians, the visitors, all united in their victory. The Echo had won. It wasn't just a legend anymore, it was a proven force for good. And Maya, the girl who wanted to leave Memphis, had helped secure its legacy of hope. She had found her own song right here in the heart of the city she now knew she loved. The rejection of Sterling Development's proposal was a turning point for Memphis. The city rallied around Graceland, committed to preserving its authentic magic. The year of the Echo officially concluded at the end of the year, and while the massive, unprecedented surge of visitors subsided, Graceland's appeal was forever amplified. The number of visitors for that year was formally announced: over 1.8 million. Nearly 3 times the population of Memphis. It was a record, a phenomenon, and a testament to the enduring power of a place that had become a global sanctuary. Maya, though still in her senior year of high school, was no longer just an employee at Graceland. She was now part of a newly formed Graceland Echo Preservation Committee, a group dedicated to documenting the stories of the year of the Echo and ensuring the spirit of connection and hope continued to thrive. Mr. Henderson was her co-chair, his wisdom providing invaluable guidance. Her college applications sat on her desk, updated with new essays that spoke not of escaping Memphis, but of its unique spirit and her role in protecting it. She still dreamed of travel, of seeing the world, but now she knew she would always come back. Memphis wasn't a trap. It was a launch pad. The city itself was flourishing in the wake of the Echo. The new jobs created during the visitor surge remained bolstering the local economy. There was a renewed sense of pride among Memphians. a deeper appreciation for their city's unique identity and its capacity to inspire. The Memphis Welcomes the World campaign continued, fostering a welcoming atmosphere that had become deeply ingrained in the city's culture. Maya spent hours in the Graceland archives working on the Echo Legacy Project, archiving the thousands of stories submitted from around the world. Each story was a testament to the healing inspiration and connection that people found within those gates. She saw how Elvis's music, his story, and the very spirit of Graceland had transcended generations, cultures, and personal struggles. One sunny afternoon, Maya found herself in the jungle room tracing the symbol on the wooden monkey. The hum beneath her feet was fainter now, a gentle thrum, but it was still there. The echo had receded from its peak, but its heartbeat continued steady and strong. Mr. Henderson joined her, a contented smile on his face. The heart of Graceland never truly stops beating, Maya. It just adjusts its rhythm. And Memphis adjusted with it, Maya added. We're not the same city we were a year ago. No, he agreed. You found your song, Maya, just like Jesse. You found your place. She looked at him, feeling a wave of gratitude. I wouldn't have without you, Mr. Henderson, and without Graceland. He chuckled softly. You had it in you all along, child. Graceland just helped you hear it. He reached into his pocket and pulled out his intricately carved wooden bird. It vibrated faintly in his palm. It still hums, he said, his eyes distant. It always will, as long as people seek hope, as long as they believe in the power of dreams. Graceland will call to them. Maya spent her last summer before college working at Graceland, but this time it felt like a calling, not just a job. She led tours, sharing the real stories of the Echo, connecting with visitors and guiding them towards their own moments of inspiration. She saw families find common ground, strangers become friends, and individuals rediscover their passion. The magic was real, and she was a part of it. When the time came for college applications, Maya submitted her essays. She was accepted to her dream university, but she also applied for a local scholarship that would allow her to pursue a degree in cultural preservation and community development with a specific focus on urban revitalization. Her plan was to learn all she could and then return to Memphis to help ensure that Graceland's enduring heartbeat would continue to resonate for generations to come. On her last day, before leaving for college, Maya stood at the gates of Graceland, looking back at the mansion. It wasn't just a house anymore, it was a symbol. A place where the spirit of Elvis Presley lived on, not as a ghost, but as an enduring force of inspiration. It was a place where millions had come searching for something, and many had found it. It was a place that had transformed her city, and transformed her. The number of people who visited Graceland that year, surpassing the population of Memphis by a staggering margin, wasn't just a statistic. It was a story. A heartwarming, captivating, and truly unforgettable story of hope, connection, and the enduring magic of a home that truly had a heart of its own. And Maya, walking away from it, for now knew she carried a piece of that heartbeat within her, ready to bring it back to the city she now proudly called home.